Hello, and thank you for joining me once again for the latest installment of The Vault. My name is Julie Fry, and I'm the curator at Stan Hywet Hall and Gardens. Today we're going to be talking about psychics, specifically a man named Edgar Cayce. So the Seiberlings, several of them, were very fond of consulting psychics throughout their lives. F.A., I will say, thought it was all just hooey. He was not interested in having psychic readings done for himself. But Gertrude was very curious about psychic predictions. Irene and her husband Milton were very devout followers of Edgar Cayce, as well as Franklin, Seiberling's youngest son, also often would consult Edgar Cayce for some psychic advice. So Cayce was someone who lived on the East Coast. We're not exactly sure how Milton and Irene got introduced to him, but they were the reason that he kind of met the Seiberling family and began to provide psychic readings for different family members. Cayce could answer questions that subjects asked of him, subjects such as healing, reincarnation, dreams, afterlife, past life, and nutrition. This was especially interesting to Irene. She did ask a lot of health questions of Cayce. She and her family members had dozens and dozens of readings over her lifetime. Franklin specifically contacted Edgar Cayce in 1937 to help him with a dating dilemma. He was actually interested in 3 women at the same time, and he decided, as a way to solve this problem and figure out maybe who was his best match, he would reach out to Edgar Cayce and ask for a reading and get advice on these 3 different women and possibly who was his future soulmate. So Cayce provided information for Franklin about each of these women, and then Franklin turned around and actually transcribed a lot of these readings and sent them to his sister Irene, who he was consulting with via letters as to what he should do. So we have here the 3 readings of each of the women. So Nancy, the first woman, Franklin is summarizing the reading that Cayce gave her. The reading emphasizes that our experiences in past life build certain forces which are innately active, that she has been very successful at making the most of the material sense. This will be very valuable in the present, for her mathematical mind will quickly analyze, and she will not be discouraged against odds. She'll be very active, and homemaking will be but a part of her activity. He then recounts how Margaret was described by Cayce. A check Cayce reading says that Margaret is carrying over from our acquaintance in a previous experience a possessive desire for me, and that I am carrying over a protective desire towards her. It says in effect that the choice is up to us, but that it does not appear that the relationship of marriage is the best with which we can serve one another. And finally, the third woman, Dorothy, we don't have a clear reading on her. He didn't transcribe that reading as specifically as he did for the other women, but we do know at the time that he actually ended his relationship with Margaret very shortly after the reading that Cayce provided and began to date Dorothy, but then that relationship also fizzled out as well. So thank you for joining me once again for the latest installment of The Vault. I look forward to sharing more again with you soon.